This is Insightful. You're listening to the Ambiance podcast.
Okay, cool. So we can go live in 3, 2, 1. What's up, people? Welcome back to Ambiance podcast. Sitting to the right of me, I got Insightful.
Hello.
How's it going, man?
Doing good, man. Thank you for having me.
Of course, bro. It's good to meet you. We
likewise.
don't know each other, and I feel like that makes these things a lot more funner because I got so many questions for you. So it's gonna be a dope episode. But yeah, let's start off with the name Insightful. How did that come about?
Yeah, it wasn't like a very deep. Yeah, and first of all, thank you for having me. Really.
Yeah,
This is like really cool what you're doing.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Yeah, the name came from, well, not a lot of people know this, but a lot of people will now. But I used to be in a rap group in San Diego.
That's where you said you were from, San Diego, right?
From San Diego, from Chula Vista, and it just kind of came from one of the group members and just kind of stuck. Like initially, it was Ho One, which was
That was the
it,
name
it
of
was
the
like
crew?
my tag name.
Oh, that was your name.
Mm-hmm.
Ho
And
One?
then Ho One. Yeah.
What was that?
It was for household.
Okay.
Household. It was just condensed into one thing, and then but yeah, Insightful came from one of my like early music mentors who was he went to the same high school. He was older, played basketball, and just stuck, and I just kept using it, and that's that.
That's that?
Yeah.
Cool, man. I think
Yeah.
it's a dope name, obviously. Like,
Thanks, man.
you could kind of take on the persona of
anything.
Yeah, Insightful.
Right.
It's dope as
It's
hell.
funny because people will meet me thinking like initially that would be like a Buddhist monk or something like that.
Oh, because
And it's not the case. You know? Like I'm not that serious. You know? Yeah. It just happened.
It's a cool name, man.
Yeah,
Respects
thank
on
you.
it. But yeah, just like giving a little bit of a background to like the listeners and viewers. How I found out about you, like I was telling you, I just came across your video, one of your videos for one of the tracks you got called "Learn" with Tay UR.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I liked the video. I liked the song too, but I really fucked with the video. Like I thought it was super different, and
Thank
like
you.
I usually try to curate guests that like are obviously like a little different in their craft, and then a lot of guests that are also behind the scenes in like any creative art. But that's like how I first kind of found out what inspired like your music and just like your creative art, like how you do what you do, like how do you different from everybody else?
Yeah, I mean, shit. I have to thank all the artists that came before me that kind of created who I am and what I create and how I mimic their sound and certain inspirations from them. Like shout out to Tay too, because Tay, all the way in Nigeria, the beauty of collaboration across, thousands of miles is a beautiful thing. I really I came up listening to like a lot of electronic music and like Lapalux and Shlomo and Flying Lotus.
Okay.
And so I think that kind of helped shape my musical choices now and instincts. And as for the video, actually I got the courage again to pick up the camera and start recording and experimenting with different things. And like I'm a fan of simplicity and faces, and so the Learn video was kind of, I had like a good looking friend or a couple good looking friends, and I was like, you guys want to do this? And then
So you made the video too?
Yeah.
yourself.
I rented a red camera, never used it before, and and just shot it. I had the idea. We went to like the fashion district and picked up a bunch of silks, and I was playing around with I wanted to use those, so I was like, how could we use this? And yeah, one thing led to another, and then it was yeah.
That video goes crazy, man. I think it's
Thank
dope.
you.
Like, I don't know how you fucking envisioned that,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it
I
came
mean,
into piece. Like, it looks cool.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and that's cool that you saw that too, because like that was the first time creating something visual for a long time for myself. Like I have traveled the world shooting videos. Like I worked for GoPro for 4.5 years, and
Right.
I went to Mongolia and stayed with nomads and filmed a documentary out there.
Oh shit.
But when it comes to my own stuff, like I feel like it's harder for me to like apply the same vision to myself, and that's something I've been like realizing like with art lately, and like feeling empowered to switch the you know perspective on it, because I've always been working for like corporate companies or companies with a big vision, but I've never really turned that like creative outlet onto my own artistry.
Okay.
So like renting the camera was like a first step, and I have to thank my manager Monty for like juicing me up. He's
Really?
like, bro, you need to do this. You need to do this. And I was like, you know, you're right. And then
Was it one of those things like where you guys would always talk about it, like, man, I want to do this, but you never really like took the step, and he just pushed you?
yeah. Like he's like, you know, I have to thank him for a lot of things, but yeah, it's hard for me because, like I said, being in corporate environments, it's like you need to run certain things by certain people, whereas on the artist side, there's not those chain of commands that you have to abide by.
Okay.
So in my mind, it was kind of like because I have the artistry side, I have the day job, and I have the things that I need to do to, you know, put a roof over my head.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard taking the same mentality of like working for a company and then applying those same like big, you know.
I feel you on that, because it's like when you're at that corporate job, it's like they're paying you to use your creativity, but there's like a box around the creativity,
right.
So you can't fully like expand on
it.
But it's like, how do you go from that to your own art, and like flip the switch?
Apply it.
It's not as easy as just like flipping a switch, like, all right, now I don't have this box around my creativity.
Right. Yeah, and I think it's really been like since, I don't know, a few months ago, like something I've been heavily focused on is like, all right, I can't shoot video. Like I need to make it happen. How can I make it happen? I don't need someone to make my album artwork because I can do that myself. There's a lot of skills. Like I guess really what it is just realizing like my own strengths and like applying them. Cause like, at a job, at a 9-to-5, it's like, I have all these strengths, but I'm here to do one thing. You know? So I think it's a little restricting, and it's kind of just balancing that. But yeah, man, I appreciate it. I'm glad you liked the video. There's more to come too.
There is.
And
that's cool.
And I've been talking with a lot of DPs, and I've been learning a lot, like techniques, and just really realizing like I don't need to be looking so far out and like, oh, I need a certain camera to do this, or I need this or that. It's like this iPhone 11 or whatever it is, the Plus, whatever, Max, has like 4K video. Like you could record a music video off this thing if you really wanted to. So
that's crazy, bro. Like it's just like all this technology is so accessible.
And even it applies to you too. I mean, like it's not the most elaborate setup, but it works, and you're making it work, and like that's all it is, and all you have to do is keep doing that. You'll find people that want to shoot it, or you know. It's just like it's a gradual upgrade.
100%. Like I've already experienced that, because I haven't even been doing like this whole concept for like even a year yet, and I've already seen so many, like met so many dope people, like collab with so many people. I've been like, moves have been being made, so it's like, if you just do what you like, bring your vision to life, it's like the rest will take care of itself. Obviously you have to like put in the work for it, but like like you said, you don't need the most expensive.
You really don't. And in today's society, it's kind of like injected into you that you should have the best of the best and like all this stuff. But
why do you think that is? Do you think it's like consumerism, like society?
I mean, it's just money.
Then,
I mean, it's just like the culture we live in. There's like interesting things I've been seeing, like in Africa, with music videos being created on like super low budgets, but it's using like the soul is there. The quality is not there, but like the soul of filmmaking and the soul of like creating art is there. Like there's these guys using like old school ass cameras to create music videos or to create short films or action movies using like something that we had like 10 15 years ago,
I think there's something to be said about that, just with like people seeking like vintage vintage art, like whether it's like clothing or it's like cameras. Like people like grain now, they like everything on film. And it's like
retro.
It's like you can have the vision without the nice stuff, but you can't have the nice shit without the vision, right?
Yeah, exactly. And to be honest, like back to that music video, like I really did not need to spend the money I spent to rent that camera. I think total the value of everything was like $17,000.
Oh
like
my
with
God,
the lens and everything, and I have to get insurance for it. So like, I mean, it ended up costing like $500.
Yeah.
To rent a Red and then the insurance for it, but like I could have gone a lot lower with it in hindsight, and I'll probably do that again. But it's like a good learning experience, you know. Like I've never used it, and I looked up a couple YouTube videos like how to turn it on and white balance and all that shit, and that's all I need. But I don't know. If I have an idea now, there's a lot less like complication in the middle, like. Yeah, whatever it is.
Do you think it's because you know how to do so many things by yourself, or like you not necessarily know how to do all of them, but like you have the willpower and like ambition to learn it at least, where most people would outsource it?
Yeah. And we were talking a little earlier, like I went to, my initial passion was like art and drawing.
Okay.
And like traditional art. And I've always had a sketchbook with me. Like since I was a kid. It kind of faded off a little bit towards until now. But I went to school for like visual effects, and I learned Photoshop, Illustrator, Premiere, excuse me. All of like the visual type of software. So like I have a background in that, but I was simultaneously doing music too. So there's like kind of two sides of kind of what I do, and I think it's not until recent when I've been kind of meshing both worlds a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think having the knowledge in those things prior has helped
Most
dramatically.
definitely.
Yeah, because
they go hand in hand.
They do.
So it's like oftentimes if you have to hire somebody to do your visuals, like that you can tell them what you want, but it's not going to be the same thing as you doing it yourself, right?
Yeah, for sure. And nowadays too, it's like it's really cool because like having the music career that I've had, I'm no Beyonce. It's okay, but I've gained fans that also do really cool shit too. So like I've been really proactively reaching out and like finding people that have like fucked with my music, but also are genuinely dope, because it kind of opens the door to like further collaboration, because they're already a fan of like the music, so it like it will definitely translate visually. And there's a ton of dancers that I've met over the years that I'm trying to establish relationships that I didn't before, because same with dance is very similar in that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just, there's a network. I guess the bottom line is like, over the years that I've built a network of really creative people, or like without me knowing or trying to do that. And now I'm like kind of realizing like, wow, there's a lot of amazing people that I can collaborate with in music or in art, or so this year is like gonna be a lot of collaboration,
right,
in various mediums.
I like that concept, because if you collaborate with people that actually like what you do, I feel like when you collaborate with them, they're like invested in it because they actually like it.
For sure.
So they're gonna put like more effort into it and actually care about like the outcome of what you're doing, right?
Yeah, for sure. And that's something I think that I think is like also just in the long term, like a good thing to do, in general, just because a lot of times, like, I don't know how many musicians or creatives will turn to the audience for like collaboration or to create something with, like, together, you know. And I just think that there's a lot of cool people doing a lot of cool things, and and I've been really fortunate enough to meet a lot of people off of Instagram or meet up in real life, and it's really cool.
That's dope, like, that you're open-minded enough to do something like that. Some people might, like, egos might be too big to want to
that's the thing. I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't have done this, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, because
Really?
I so one track mind into, like, me and what I'm doing, and, like, you know, like, there's definitely an ego, and I think there's an ego for all of us, but I would say for me, 5 years ago, I never collabed with anybody really, other than people that I, like, really knew personally, but I think that was also a hindrance, and it was a huge lesson.
Really? For sure.
Yeah. Cause I just feel like, and I've been learning recently, like, the more people involved, the more beautiful the project or product is gonna be.
Okay.
Like, there's only so much one mind can contribute.
Yes, I'm learning that right now, man, because I have, like, a few friends that, like, help me out with this, like, when they can, because they have their own thing that they're doing. But it's like I gotta learn myself to reach for, like, a hand for some help, because I'm doing everything on my own, and I'm scared to let somebody in on it, because I have this vision and I'm trying to protect the vision, and I feel like you have to, like, contribute to it, and I'm like, it's like my baby. I'm like, damn, like, I don't want somebody to come in here and, like, start fucking with shit. But I know that, like you said, like, you can't do it all on your own. Like, you need it, and the outcome will probably be a lot better too if you have, like, other minds. So I'm learning that right now.
And it's also who is, like, obviously, like, not having a shitload of people is, like, a really good idea, but the right people in there that know the vision, that understand it, and also look at life very similarly, like, not, you know what I mean? And I've been, like, a lot of the people in my life now, especially creatively, I just trust their instincts without a doubt. Like, I don't even second guess it, and I don't second guess their intention. And I think it took a while for me to get a circle like that.
Right.
And I think, like, it, for music, it's like I could send them and I will take the feedback, and they will have feedback. It's not like they're like thumbs upping every time. Like, I know that I'll get something valuable back.
They're not like yes men.
Exactly. And
that's important.
That's all you need, really. Like, I have some of my good friends, like, they don't give a shit about what I'm creating. They care about, like me, you know?
Right.
And I think that's also a valuable thing as well. And they're super talented. Like, I don't mention anything that they're working on or whatever. And we have, like, good discussions at the end of the day, you know? So
that's hella cool, man. Going back, switching gears a little bit to, like, the Tay You Are track. How did you guys connect? If he's all the way out in Nigeria, how did that happen?
So I sent him a letter. Oh, I'm just kidding. No, my manager, we've been talking for a long time. My manager hit him up and has been helping him, like, with admin stuff and creative stuff lightly. And I don't know how recent he started managing him, but pretty much was like, send me a playlist, like, let's do something with Tay, and then it just happened. And I think it was, like, one of the first songs that I sent him too.
Wow. That's it's so dope, because his like fan base kind of gets put on you because I didn't know about you, but I knew about Tayuar, and I was like, let me check out this track. They got Tayuar, then I'm like, oh, this dude's dope, like actually too. So like then I started listening to some of your tracks, and I'm like, yeah, I fuck with this.
Yeah, dope. Cool. I appreciate it. Yeah, I got a lot after that song. A lot of Nigerian fans.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
It was really cool, and that's just the power of like of music. Like, yeah,
crazy how music can connect to you.
Yeah, like seriously, and he's really special too, man, because he's also an engineer, and yeah, just like I don't even understand how he stacks his vocals and his harmonies. Like it's like I feel honored to have provided the production for that, for real. Yeah, because he's a very talented dude.
Yeah, that is definitely a big move for you, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I'd say like a lot of the artists I've been choosing to work with now, and like I've been working with, are all kind of in a similar space, like very soulful, very R&B, genuine. Like there's Baby Rose, who I've been working with.
Okay, I heard of her,
and she's amazing. There's a bunch of artists actually, and it's funny, back to like the influences. I did like a lot of touring and DJing and stuff with Selection, and I realized like when I was making music, I was kind of making music for shows and like to get people to dance and stuff, and I like higher energy stuff, and then I started to realize like it's not the kind of path I want to go down.
Right, like, it's a different pocket.
Yeah, and like the stuff I was listening to was not electronic music, and it was like folky. Like there was some like I don't know, just different genres, like not what you'd expect. And then kind of was releasing music until like 2015, and then kind of got paralyzed by like overthinking things a little bit, and so over like from 2015 to now has been a lot of like learning instruments, and just even being in studio sessions with producers, other engineers, and just like learning really. But I'm finding recently like the songwriting aspect of it, like the simplicity of records is kind of the thing that has been drawing me in.
Okay.
And so like working with soul singers or artists of that nature are like kind of where I'm heading.
That's what you like working with the most?
Yeah, I love it.
How do you decide like who you want to collab with? What's that process like?
It's different. Like with Tay, I never met Tay. I FaceTimed him twice, I think. But with a lot of artists, it's especially if they're like, if I'm working with them in person, and we usually don't work on music the first time. We meet and we just talk and just see, like, just learn about each other. And then from there, then it's like, yeah, then it's all good.
Okay.
But yeah, usually the process has been like kind of like an interview, just a first date type thing.
Okay.
Male or female, you know.
I feel it.
But yeah, that's kind of how it is. And then, I mean, music speaks for itself. So like, in order to even get to the first date, we have to like really mutually respect each other, you know.
I feel that. Have you ever had a situation where just like you weren't really connecting or meshing with the person you were trying to?
Oh yeah. Yeah, like twice, which is a pretty good number, I think. But like I had somebody come over to my apartment and just be extremely disrespectful, just like with house rules and like stuff like that. And it's all good. But it's like that person's not coming back. Super talented though. And then another one is just like a little green, like just didn't really know her voice or like know where she wanted to be, so kind of was not the right time, but I think there's like potential
Right.
for her, but just not now. Yeah.
Okay,
Or
yeah.
like not with us together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's fine too, because like
Yeah.
amount of people you probably collabed with, like it's bound to happen, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like-
for sure. For sure. I mean, the best feeling I get walking out of a session is like feeling like I don't know shit. Like that's the
yeah?
best feeling.
You mean like surrounding
humbled.
yourself in a room with people who are like on a
With
totally another
real
level?
musicians.
Yeah.
Like people that play with real art, like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like the like real shit. Like and thankfully I've been in a few of those situations more so than not, where I walk out like, wow, I need to really work on my
You left like
guitar
inspired.
skill. Yeah, inspired, but also like my ego hurts a little bit because it's like, oh yeah, I'm not that tight.
I ain't shit yet.
Okay.
Exactly.
And I hope that remains, that mentality remains. I don't really want to be the guy that feels like he knows everything, but yeah, as long as we could like, you're conscious of like where you're at and you reflect often,
Mm-hmm.
I think you're in a healthy groove, you know.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
I really fuck with people like that like seek to be challenged like that. Like that's how you should be. I
Yeah,
feel like
right.
when you're in this like type of art or craft.
Right. And there's like a good example is my buddy Najee, who, you know, like a lot of people know Ableton,
Mm-hmm.
but he just knows Ableton on a whole different level, where it's like I'll get in a session with him and he'll literally teach me something new every single time that I didn't know before, like with how to use it. So I look at him like, fuck you, stop coming over. But it's like,
making me feel like shit.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Do you use
Love
Ableton
you,
or
bro.
do you use FL Studios?
I use Ableton.
Use Ableton.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, started off on GarageBand, making like, when I was a rapper,
All right.
making like GarageBand loops, and then recording off of the internal microphone.
Oh,
And
off
then-
the internal.
Yeah.
Wow. How'd that
yeah.
come out? Like.
Really good.
Okay.
Yeah, classics.
Classics.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll upload them later. No, they weren't good. But then a good friend of mine got me a cracked version of Reason, and I used that for a long time. And then Ableton, yeah. And Reason's really dope. Now it's super dope because you can like track things into it. But yeah, Ableton's been the one for me lately. I've invested the most into like VSTs for it, so like I have no choice.
Yeah.
To keep it, you know.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me, going back to like what you said earlier about just like you can kind of getting around not getting the like most expensive shit. Like when I was first starting this out, like I had a homie who does like videography and video editing, and he like got me the torrents for like Final Cut Pro and like a few other softwares, you know what I mean? So it's like finding little loops.
You kind of have to.
Things. Yeah.
Like no kid can afford that shit.
Yeah.
Anyways, you know. So like get the cracked version, work on your craft until you can afford it, and then buy it.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about it crashing or doing any of that thing.
Yeah.
But I'm very thankful because not only did that mentor for Reason give me Reason, but he gave me his entire sound collection, which was like
that
a
helps
couple
so
gigs.
much too.
Man,
like, insanely.
Yeah. I remember there was like days where, I mean, once I got Reason, it was over. Like I had no social life. I really didn't care about anything other than that and like video games.
Right.
And I would be up on a weekend. I just wake up, work on it till night, and then repeat the process like throughout the week. But I was learning something new every day, like whether it was like a little filter or like a little knob that made an effect or something, to like automation with different things. But it was a very like exploratory phase, like where I was kind of like navigating sound a little bit, and I felt highly inspired from it, and I felt confident, like everything that I exported and created, I was like, yeah, I did that, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't feel the same way now.
Do you think because you like mastered so many of those things, or not mastered, but like
Yeah, I think I've like, yeah, it's gotten to a point to where it's like, yeah, I need to frequently switch things up in order for me to feel that way again. Whether it's like getting new sounds or like reorganizing the template that I have when I start out, or like starting with certain things first. I don't know, but yeah, I think compared from like when I started out, like the excitement I felt to now, there's a change. Like I'm a lot more wise and I'm a lot more like intentional with things now, and I think that's also why I don't feel the same way I wasn't like a child, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You must like doing like making music a lot more than before, because I know you said earlier that you were kind of making things to like please the crowd versus like now you feel like you're more doing things for like, I actually like doing this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely. Man, yeah, very true. And that's it took a long time to realize that too, and to get to that comfortability, because like I didn't feel like myself DJing.
Yeah.
And I always felt self-conscious, and like, do people really like what I'm playing right now? Or like, you know, there's like always a voice in the back of my head. I might be prone to like schizophrenia or something, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
but yeah, it didn't feel right. But now this feels very right. Like creating like slower music beds for vocalists to shine on is like what really gets my rocks off, you know?
Yeah. I think that's like going back to what you just said earlier. I feel like that doesn't get talked about enough. Just like the amount of anxiety like performers get, whether you're a DJ or like a stage performer, like an artist and singer, because it's like it causes people to like medicate, right? With drugs.
For sure.
Like, I remember watching that Avicii documentary on Netflix where it's just like he was like socially, like he had social anxiety, so like he would get fucked up before he go on stage to just deal with it, because he'd be so nervous on stage. And I feel like I have a lot of like friends that are DJs too, and they say the same thing, like, you know what I mean?
And I mean, in the moment I felt like I didn't feel like shit while I was performing. Like it was like it felt good at the performance, but like before and after didn't feel good, even if the set was really good, or I felt good about the set. I would still like right after I'd be like, I need to go home, I need to like work on music. Like, I don't this isn't like me, you know?
Right.
And I really admire, like I really admire and respect DJs and how they work and operate. And I love curating music. It's just my place isn't on the stage. You know?
That's good that you recognize it though. You don't force yourself to be in that kind of niche.
I mean, it was good money too. Like the money was good. It was, you met a lot of different people. Like I missed the social aspect of it. I just didn't feel like the right fit. Yeah. So that's when I just started hunkering down on the stuff that I enjoyed.
Digressing a little bit, when did you get started in this music? Like, when did you start?
Yeah, it was when I got the first my first MacBook. I don't really count my career until like, or like I don't count the years until probably like around the Selection era, like
that's when it started getting a little bit more serious.
Yeah. And I was on the first compilation.
Oh, so those are early days of Selection.
Yeah, like 2011.
Wow.
And I was just making beats, and then it started to pick up into like doing like house shows for the DJing thing, and then picked up from there. But I was also doing like heavily into like licensing my music with companies and brands and stuff. So but yeah, it started there.
What made you like want to get into music at the time? Like not even when you're like when you say your career kind of first started, but when you first started getting that like little spark of interest, what was it that caused that?
It was like fucking around with GarageBand.
Okay.
It got me hooked, like mixing things, and I would like record freestyles to like Quasimodo
Okay.
instrumentals and like Mad Lib stuff. And I was listening to like a lot of Wu-Tang and all that stuff early on, but there's just something so like that so interesting about it. And then once I started doing it myself, it was like I was addicted to it. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. How do you think music has changed from then to now for you?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that's changed for me is like my taste in what I like listen to every day.
Okay.
Like, cause like I said, I was listening to like a lot of like really experimental kind of like bass electronic music. And that stuff still kind of do off and on, but it's changed more so. Like I've been listening to a lot more like instrument heavy song or music. Like I don't know, I really love Alabama Shakes and the Teskey Brothers, which is more like bluesy.
Okay.
So stuff that like it's really took like a 180. There's still a little bit of soul in both. I think that's the kind of thread, but
yeah.
But yeah, there's music. The music I listen to versus that I used to listen to now is a lot different.
Your taste has kind of evolved.
Yeah, and yeah, that's basically that.
That's crazy. Like, imagine what in 10 more years.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck we're gonna be into, or
Yeah.
like, what's gonna be popping.
Yeah, we have no idea, man. We have no idea. I mean, I don't even know.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to start. Yeah.
It trips me out. Just like I think about that sometimes. Just how elders are usually like attuned to classical jazz and stuff. Like when we get to that like 70s, 80s age, like what are we gonna be bumping? Like
you know what's funny is we kind of went through an era already. With like the SoundCloud rappers that I feel like where do you remember when everyone was like very flustered on the mumble rap stuff? I feel like that kind of came and went already. Like that was like a little miniature type of era that we witnessed. Yeah.
You think so?
I think so.
This is a very short era.
It was short, but it was a little blip in the grand scheme of things like that we went through. And there was a lot of reaction from like older generation hip hop people, like a lot of like backlash on it, but it's evolved already. Yeah.
And I think obviously a big tribute to that are platforms like SoundCloud and Spotify and streaming. And I'm actually interested to hear like what your thoughts on this. Like, do you like where music is at as far as just how easy it is to kind of put it out now on all these platforms, or do you feel like it creates more stress and pressure for artists to constantly release music?
I think it's kind of been, I think it's a great tool for artists, musicians. One thing I did realize after working with Rose was like, it's not, I don't think, like for me coming from SoundCloud and that like where I could upload a song, not think about it, and it do fairly well, like better than it would do now today. It's kind of a tough thing to like love or hate, because there's aspects of streaming, like Spotify, for example. Like I mentioned with Rose, I released a couple songs independently, and then they went out, and some are doing okay, some are not. Doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
But releasing something with an artist that's on a label and seeing how well that performs because the label is behind it was kind of a crazy thing to think about, because like nowadays it seems like it's such a free, open place to like release music, and you can pop off or do whatever. But if you have like a label behind you that supports you and knows the right people to playlist and to get this like editorial post, like it's a really night and day thing, like releasing your music independently versus with a label, like
having
things being on the Rolling Stones and like Billboard and blah blah blah, versus like, you know, your own stuff that you're pushing out with none of that and none of that support, which is kind of a crazy thing because it makes me think about there still is a very heavy hand with labels and like getting music out there like the old school way but with a new platform, you know. So I think there's always going to be a struggle for independent artists because I think it just takes the right circumstance for like an independent artist to blow up. Whereas like the label is still, you know, they have all of their roles and functions to help blow up an artist.
Right. Do you think if there's like an up and coming artist out there, like that they should remain independent, or should they, like, I mean, obviously every circumstance is different, but
I mean, I'm I have good friends that I respect and love that want to get a deal, and then I have good friends that I love and respect and they want to stay independent. So I think it's really just a matter of what you want to do, really, because there's benefits and cons to both. I think the independent game is a longer term play. It's more of a marathon for sure, but there's also I mean it's tough. It just depends on which wave you want to ride, you know?
I will say this though, I feel like it's a lot easier now to be independent. It's still, like you said, there's still a huge obstacle, but before, like, all these streaming services, if there was somebody who wanted to get into music, they probably didn't even have the first idea of how to do it. Like, they're just like, I feel like most people thought you needed to be on a label in order to even have your music heard. But now people see like examples of people blowing up. So being independent, and they feel like they could probably take that same road if they wanted to.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's a good point. And there's also, I was speaking to somebody just like without a team, just like uploading to DistroKid.
I got you.
I mean, there's definitely, if you have the right team and you're independent, then I mean, you could do whatever you want. And now too, a lot of music distribution companies are doing things to help fund independent artists too, and like having deals set where they don't really own the masters or any of they don't own your music. They help support the marketing of it, so they can give like a budget for marketing for that song that exclusively that they're distributing. So things are, I think the industry is getting a lot more creative, and I think labels are understanding that the old ways of owning the masters or owning the music is kind of like an old format. Things are becoming a little more fluid, and like companies are becoming a little more nimble and creative with how they help artists and how they support in their role. So that's an exciting thing. Too.
For sure. With that being said, what advice would you give to like an aspiring artist or producer, even that like wants to start getting more serious or start getting into music? What advice would you give to somebody like that listening?
I would just say just be good to people and be as open as possible, and don't get caught up too much in yourself and what you're doing, and being good to people, I feel like is like easier said than done in the moment, especially, but just have respect,
just be more
people.
genuine.
Yeah
Okay.
Just have respect for people,
I like it.
and what they do.
For sure.
Yeah.
Was there ever anything else that you wanted to do besides music?
Yeah, we were talking about this. My first dream job was working at Pixar,
Crazy.
and it never ended up happening. But and I'm glad too in hindsight. But yeah, I would have loved to be like a director. Just always loved movies and films and creating worlds. What I want to do now this year is like compose for film, and do soundtracks for. I would love to do like a anime soundtrack in anime. That'd be cool.
That's interesting.
Or some type of meaningful documentary. That'd be tight.
So you want to delve into that?
Yeah. My dream is to have a big family, a little barn or something that's converted into just a big studio space that can create.
Where would that be at? Just where?
Outside of any city, any big city, doesn't matter. But place with space. Yeah, Toronto would be cool.
Okay, Toronto.
Or Denver.
A barn in Toronto.
Yeah, somewhere out there.
Crazy concept.
Yeah, we could build it up, you know.
Denver, you like Denver?
I like Denver. I don't love Denver, but I like it. I like aspects of it.
You like
family. I'm having a kid in April.
Oh wow! Congratulations,
yeah,
man.
Thank you.
Blessings.
Thank you. Yeah, so now a lot of my mentality has changed quite a bit with what I want, what we want. Just decision making is a little different.
Right.
But yeah.
That's cool. Denver's a dope place. I lived in Colorado for like 3 years. I went to college over there.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I'm really familiar with Denver and Colorado.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I don't know. It's a place that I would not be opposed to.
Yeah, 100%. It's honestly like a gem in America.
Yeah.
Like, to have a family there, like,
yeah, for sure.
There's a reason why so many people are moving over there.
Yep.
It's like not that expensive yet, but it's like a dope area. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But it was funny. I actually did want to mention one thing, if I can.
Yeah.
And that one thing is TikTok.
Oh shit.
I had a realization, and we were talking about like paralysis and like being scared of releasing stuff. I just had this realization last week. I started my account.
A TikTok account?
Yeah, last Friday. It's like a little over a week ago. And I was like, oh, I love drawing. I bought a bunch of notepads. I'll show it to you guys.
Yeah.
Bought a bunch of notepads and chalk. And I've just been doing these drawings, like these fast.
And if you're listening right now, I'm going to screen record this. I'm going to throw it up on that YouTube page.
So I'll be doing a series of these drawings. And why I bring this up is because you can look at it.
Yeah. Wow.
Because it kind of applies to the music thing, where I was like, all right, I want to start drawing again. Everyone's saying they don't know TikTok, and like, yeah, we don't understand TikTok because it's for the young kids.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it, to be honest. But
bro, and that's the thing. We have to, our culture, and especially for people in entertainment or creativity industries, creative industries, there's like so much potential.
Wow.
All of my followers,
you have a lot of drawings.
all of my followers are like 10 years old, like super young. I'll get an occasional like 15-year-old, 16-year-old. Yeah. But it's just really interesting because like it was so easy for me to sit down and just do it and release it, and that's that. Whereas like on Instagram, it's like, oh, is this the right picture to post? Or like there's so much thought.
That's true.
That goes into like certain platforms like SoundCloud, Spotify. But it was just a really weird realization where I found the voice that's telling me that I shouldn't release stuff through creating this TikTok account.
Right.
So now when I'm like thinking about music and releasing music, it's like which voice is telling me not to do it, and like why am I listening to that voice? Because really these days I think it's valuable, like extremely valuable, to be constantly releasing. Like there's really, you shouldn't have any fear about doing that.
Man, that's next level thinking, to be conscious of that like thought, like what is causing me to think this way.
Yeah,
that's interesting,
man. It's like, it's just weird, and it's something as dumb as like TikTok, but it's like like I had zero, I cared 0% with like what I'm uploading onto that. Whereas like, why do I think so much about the other shit?
Okay, so you're like taking out like the total aspect of caring about anything, which makes it easier for you to push out the content. Okay.
And that's how for me music started too, was like there was no voice in my head saying like, should I do this or not? It was always just release it. I didn't care about how many people listened to it. I didn't care about a lot of things back then, and this kind of re-sparked that, like,
wow, okay.
This is why I do what I do.
And TikTok is probably a great platform for that, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure exactly how it works, but isn't it like a bunch of clips or something? Or how does it work?
Yeah, I mean, man, it's so deep. I'm still trying to wrap my head. It's been a week.
You feel like this is how old dudes be on Twitter? Like, like, how do you use this thing? How do you tweet? Like,
no, but I mean, it's a powerful. Like, I'm not like, I'm not like a salesman for it, but
yeah,
I think it's really like a very powerful tool. And you can download anybody's videos from here, and then like collaborate with their original video, like using the audio from it, like doing lip syncing over it, to like, man, I don't even know all the features yet, but there's like, it's just like a very highly collaborative community, and a lot of things like what I noticed is, like, you post something and then probably no one's ever gonna see it again. So like, I mean, at least for me, like, I feel like I have to keep uploading stuff.
Why is the newsfeed like?
I don't know how it works. I don't think it's like Instagram, where it's like the first thing you follow or the first thing you see is the people you're following's uploads. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
The first thing you see is like the explore page.
Oh.
So like, so rather than it being like, at least that's how it works for me. Still learning, dude. But.
Right.
It's like, it's a lot different. The mentality is a lot different. And yeah, and I'm trying to like build my art stuff this year. And I reached out like just a little, the hustler side of me. I go to this coffee shop by my job, and they have like really cool custom coffee bags, like with beans in it, like really artistic stuff. And I was like, hey, I would love to create different bags for you guys.
Oh,
whatever.
sick.
So we're working on that.
Oh, so they say yeah?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, and I showed them my TikTok account. And I was like, yeah, it's something like this. And they're like, all right, cool, let's do it. Damn. So that's cool, but it's like, I don't know where I want to go with that, with drawing or art. But it fuels me. Like same thing like how music did, you know?
And that's dope, because if you put it out, like, if like something happens from it, it's great. If nothing happens, you're doing it because you like what you're doing.
At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. But it's like, I think it's cool.
Yeah.
And it helps. It drives me, and like, it would be cool to do stuff like collaborations with different companies and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know, we'll see. It's been 1 week, you know.
It's been 1 week. Yeah, that's cool. I gotta check it out. And that's so important, to be open-minded to shit like this. Not be closed off to it,
you know. And I just think there's a lot of, and TikTok, I also forgot to mention, like, I can upload my music behind the video too.
The video. Wow.
Yeah, so it's like, for a musician, there's a lot of musicians songs blowing up from TikTok, because there's like dancers making dances to it, or whatever, like little skits. So, you know, you could upload to this. There's probably more of a percentage that your song will do well off of TikTok than off Spotify.
That's crazy to think about,
because people can interact with it.
Yeah. Or if they like the video.
Yeah.
The song is just now like a part of that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so
It sounds like a really collaborative platform, man.
Super collaborative. Super collaborative. It's so collaborative. But the thing that you get with it is like it is a very young demographic, so it's like, I mean, how much value does that have? You know?
Yeah, I hear that.
But I think it's a cool platform, nonetheless. And even if kids love it, then shit, that's cool at the end of the day. It's like,
yeah, that's a younger
matter.
generation. You're in touch with the music at that point. Like, like you hip.
Yeah, I could be speaking to the president, you know?
Yeah.
The next president of the United States.
That could be true.
Yeah, you know?
You never know who sees your work out there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
I mean, one of their parents could be somebody, you know?
That's true.
Yeah.
They could share it with somebody who is somebody.
Right.
Man, it's crazy nowadays. Like, social media.
It really is.
What you can do. So, damn, you do a lot. Like, you do. So, you're obviously, you got your music.
Mm.
You want to do more with directing in your video, art? Like, what else? Is that what you mainly do?
No, well, so on the music side, too, I also compose music for like ads for companies.
Oh, really? Okay.
I do the composing thing, but I think like the film thing is like something I haven't really tapped into. A lot of it's been like commercials, and like I'll make custom music for commercials and brands. Like I work with Foot Locker and Showtime.
Oh, dope.
GoPro, Nike, those types of people, and yeah, and I love it, and it's good money. It's not super hard for me, and yeah, and like I'm building a bunch of clients, so that's like a side piece of revenue that's not bad to have. But what's cool, I think, for musicians, and especially producers that just like own their own music, is like having the ability to license your music to places is just, it's kind of hard to get into it at first, but I feel like that's a huge piece of revenue that I think a lot of people kind of miss, or a lot of musicians miss.
Yeah.
And there are bags to be had in that.
Oh yeah,
in that
definitely.
area. Yeah.
To having it on your own, like owning the outrights to it versus like, I feel like oftentimes, you could probably speak to this a lot better than I can. There's so many hands in the pot. Like,
Yeah. I think, I mean, it's been pretty, like I haven't had many syncs with like on a collaborative track, but like there's a song, Black Dress, that I have that it was off the last album that I released in 2015, and excuse me, every once in a while I'll get hit up from random companies being like, hey, we'd like to use this song for a commercial, this is the amount, and it's like, and it will pay for rent for the whole month, and it's a song I made like 5 years ago. So but that song in particular has paid for like, I don't know, probably 6-7 months of rent.
Damn.
Like within the course of like the past 2 years. So it's not bad. And then plus having like day job is like, it's just kind of taking away expenses.
That's like a whole stream of revenue that not a lot of people know about.
Yeah. I've been trying to figure out ways to really go hard with that, like creative ways, because a lot of brands are looking for music, especially unique music that's not used by other brands. So
100%, bro. For my day job, I'm a digital marketing manager, so I manage accounts where I gotta create ads, I gotta like be kind of the curator of everything. I gotta get creative from people like you who need the music, people like who do the graphic design, you know what I mean? So I know how the money goes.
Yeah,
like, you know what I
right,
mean?
right,
There's a
right,
lot
right.
of bread getting broken.
Right,
like
right,
different
right,
people by these companies who got budgets, like they got deep pockets.
Yeah,
so.
right. Yeah, in my day job, I'm doing marketing as well. Actually,
Okay.
I'm doing influencer marketing.
Okay, all right.
And it's super interesting. Just, and the company I work for is a music company too. So there's like a lot of I have a lot of oversight in that space as well. But that's interesting. I didn't know you did that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really talk about it too much, but
yeah.
that is mainly what I do.
Yeah.
And it's it's cool because it's not like, I actually find it interesting. Like, it's not, I don't hate going to work.
Mhm.
Actually, like, of course I would love to do my passion like
Yep.
strictly, but like I actually like enjoy what I do in a
Mhm.
sense for the day job.
Mhm.
But it's like, yeah, I think it's interesting.
Yeah,
Whole
it
industry.
is. And to that point too, I think it's very healthy to have a day job as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
know what your take on that is, but it's so crucial. And I think there's no shame in having a day job.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, just personally, I was like, man, I don't really feel fully like my truest creative self because I have this other thing going.
Yeah.
But it's really just how you look at it. And
It is.
at the end of the day, there's so much that you're going to learn business wise
Yeah.
from working at those places that not the creatives who just took the leap, you know, fully, which I admire and I respect. They're not, I feel like they're not going to have as much of a well-rounded like business aspect.
100%.
Yeah.
Than doing it yourself, because
Yeah.
you see how like
Yeah.
you got blueprints to how
Yeah.
brands are doing it.
Yeah.
So you can like make
you can
that
speak
your
the
own
lingo too, and like,
Yeah.
yeah, you know what to look for, and yeah, I think it's super valuable. And I always beat myself up for that. I was like, damn, I'm not fully jumping into this. I'm never gonna like, it's never gonna be that serious. But when I look back and all the things that I've done, it's like I feel very like happy and content with what I've been able to achieve while also providing, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And I think reason why, cause I feel like that sometimes too, and I think a reason why that is just because of like who you're around, and obviously like the city you live in, LA, like especially you probably know so many people in the music industry or in the creative industry that like are making mad bread off of like what they're doing, touring everywhere and shit, and it's just like it makes you be like, fuck, like like you see that so many times, like they're doing all this shit, but like yeah, it's like you said, all about perspective. It doesn't,
no one's gonna have the same can't really like expect. I feel like we can't really expect our lives to go how someone else's did in their career, you know. And I think back to when we were talking about the egotistical phase, like me not wanting to collaborate 5 years ago, that was also something I was like heavily thinking about, like, well, this person is doing this and this and I'm not doing shit, or like I don't have those opportunities, so I would beat myself up for it. And that's a super unhealthy way to think.
And that's
I'm living out here too.
Yeah.
I noticed there is like a lot of like comparing like who's doing what.
Right.
And like the past, I've kind of removed myself a little bit, and I'm very thankful from like crowds that thought in that way. And what it did was like I do feel a little more secluded, and like, but I think in the long run it's gonna help because the people that are within arm's reach are like very valuable to me, and I like love and respect them. And so and
you have different, like you said earlier, you have different values now than you did 5 years ago. Like you about to have a kid, and what you want in life probably is a lot different than what you wanted 5 years ago. You know what I mean? Yeah.
No, that's having a job is like there's nothing wrong with it. And I think a lot of people feel like they should be doing the passion thing, you know, full time, and it will get there if you just like allow it and you like
organically let it get
there.
And then you'll enjoy it probably so much more, right?
Way more.
Do you, with that being said, I mean, would you like to get to the point someday where that is the case for you?
I mean, yeah. And I think like my grandfather was a Mexican immigrant who started a chain of restaurants in San Diego.
Okay. Wow.
My father was a business owner, pretty successful for the amount of time he was doing it. But I think there's a thing in me where I know at the end of the day I'm going to work for myself, and I'm going to be the you know, decision for my own destiny or decision maker. So I'm not gonna be at a job for the rest of my life. Like I kind of know that already. But it's just a matter of like, I don't know, like I said, for the advice for the young folks or the young people like looking to get into this industry, is like being good to people, I think, is the best, longest play you can do. Because that intern that's getting you coffee could end up being someone very, and there's also a balance too. It's like, don't do that just
for the benefit.
Yeah, just for the benefit. Like, yeah, I think it's just, at the core, like, respect is the key to success, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think that applies to like creative industry we're in, or just like music, or just like in life, because like myself, to give an example, is like I mentioned earlier that I used to play college football, and a few of my teammates, after like our careers ended, would ask me like for connects to jobs or whatever, and like if you were on the team, if we're on the team together, and I knew how you were a hard worker, like you were always like ambitious and like trying to be a leader. I'll do everything I can to help you out. Versus some of these dudes that were like just like slacking off, like didn't give a shit about anything, and just like, I'm not gonna co-sign you or try to like I hope everything works out for you, but I'm not gonna put my like my reputation on the line by trying to help you out. Like, and that goes for anything. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And plus, like, having that job is like now, like, and being happy with it, I feel like later in life, like, is gonna set you up too, because like you said, like, you're business savvy at this point, and like, even if your stuff does pop off, it might not last forever. So you're setting yourself up later in life for like a solid foundation. Yeah,
right. And I think also, like, kind of diversifying, like, not really being like, there's a value of being a master at one thing, but having your hands in multiple things, I think, is also something I've been very thankful that I did early on. Like going to school for visual effects, but doing music at the same time, and like working as like as a like a dishwasher and doing music. Doing things at the same time has always benefited, because if one, like, my day job collapses, I'm gonna have a pillar I can still rely on. Or vice versa, you know? It's like, I think it's just, for me, it's like, just a little bit of
a lot of security.
Right? Security. Yeah. And that's something that was like drilled into me, but it's like a blessing and a curse, because now that I do feel secure and that there is like a day job, I want the passion project more, and I feel like it's a hindrance. But if I was in the reverse, and I've been in the reverse, where it's like my passion project is here, but I don't have the security, it's like I really need the security, and I'll do anything I can to get it. So it's really just finding that medium. Dancing in a way that suits both worlds. And I'm really glad I'm working at the place I work at, because it's also in a creative field that's like itching that other itch that I have. You know, and I have the, you know, a healthy work-life balance to where I can do things, and
that's dope. It's a blessing. You can't ask for like much more than that, right?
Really.
I feel a very similar way too, with like what I'm doing. So I feel that I would hate to be going to work and not being at some type of a creative environment, or something that applies to my passion slightly, you know? Exactly. Like I've been in that rut before, where like, I think I was working like my first like job out of college, for example. Like, I was just like, let me get this job, and like I mentioned to you earlier, I was an athlete, so it was hard like finding my passion outside of that, because I was like, okay, I put my all into this sport, and then now like, what am I gonna put that towards? So I get off work and I'm like, well, now, like, what the fuck, what do I do now? And it's just like, I couldn't imagine going, like you said, going to work and then like
being like, fuck this. Like,
what do I do after?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
passion project so important.
Yeah.
Man. Like,
Yeah.
can't stress that enough.
Man, and I also think when I'm at a place where I have like a business, and like right now it is a business technically, but I'm talking about like I have a physical place and a team and everything. Like everybody's got to work a food job at least 2 years of their life. Yeah, because working in the food industry, I feel like is one of the most valuable things a human being can go through.
What did you used to work in the food industry?
No, not now. But
like where did you?
I worked. I was working at. I was a dishwasher when I was like 14 years old.
Okay.
I delivered pizza. I sold knives. You know Cutco. You heard Cutco? It's a high quality. They're great knives. But they're a pyramid scheme. They got sued, and I got like $60. Yeah.
Oh, from the suing?
Mm-hmm. And then I worked in catering. Like everything, but it really tested the human like soul. I feel like serving people.
Okay.
And I feel like it's a very like and in those jobs too, like, you know, they say like the customer's always right. Like that mentality also trickles into like professional. I mean, it is a professional environment, but like into creative environments too, and like being able to listen to people. And like for me producing, like I said, I didn't like being on stage. Like that wasn't my thing. But what I've really loved doing is like producing feels like I'm serving someone and helping and supporting someone, and that is what really strikes a chord with me.
Okay.
And being open to their input and not being super tied down onto like what my initial thought was, or being flexible like that is something that I'm really drawn to.
And you think that stemmed from like just your experiences as at working those type of jobs?
Hell
okay.
Yeah, because if I didn't have that, then like an artist saying like, yeah, I really don't like that bass line, that would not sit well with me if I did not have the prior experience of taking
like
feedback,
constructive criticism.
Yeah,
taking that in.
yeah. And the art school helped too. Like a lot of these things that I experienced in the past helped shape the character now, and like with patience and being able to take feedback. Like that's still a hard thing for anybody to do.
Mm-hmm.
Really, shit, it's hard for me too. But being able to be open to feedback and is like a super crucial thing. I would actually add that to anybody that's starting out too, is just not taking things personally when it comes to that creative feedback.
Yeah, if you really think about it, like, I mean, everybody has different intentions on what type of feedback they're giving, but if somebody's genuine and they have good intentions, they're giving you feedback because they care. They actually if I don't know if you've ever like known somebody where it's just like they didn't take feedback good, and like you knew that they didn't take feedback good, so it's just like a lost cause at that point, so you don't even bother. Like
those are the same person you're not going to recommend to work at a place.
Exactly. So just like being conscious of that person who's giving you that feedback, they're doing it because they care. They don't have to say shit. They could let you, they could be a yes man, like we were talking about earlier. They could be like, your shit's dope, like no matter what, even if it's not, like they could be like, your shit's fire. And
sometimes you need that, like just that little juice to, you know, keep you going. But it's way more valuable for someone to be like, I don't like how the hook comes in, or I don't like the artist, frankly. This is fucked up, that could be better. There's a lot of my closest producer and music friends are super critical, and I'm always scared to show them new shit. Because I know they're gonna tell me what I don't want to hear, you know. So and thank God for those people, and having the opportunity to like work together.
Have them be around you.
I work with this this producer, Itai. who runs a studio out in Santa Monica. It's Earth, Wind, and Fire's old studio.
Oh shit!
And really dope place. But he's someone where like I kind of recently connected with, and he's produced records for Baby Rose as well, and that's kind of what really drew us together. And plus he lives like 5 minutes away, so my antisocial ass is like, it's very convenient, you know.
Yeah.
So we've been working together, but working with people like him, where he's like, he has such a great musical taste and instincts, like that's the caliber of person that I want to align myself with musically, especially when it comes to production. And someone that I learned from. So I just bring him up because he's like not a yes man, you know.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He's like he's
gonna be honest with you, like, about what he likes and doesn't like.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know what's cool about that? Like, when you know somebody is like that,
Mhm.
when they do like actually give you good feedback on like, yo, this is dope, like it means so much more, right?
Exactly.
It's like
exactly. Yeah, it's like way.
You value their opinion
impactful
on what you do more than like that. Then you're one of your homies who's just supporting.
Yeah, right.
Or your mom, like,
right,
everything's good.
Yeah, I can show her anything, she'll love it.
Yeah.
She'll share it actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
That's cool. So we're almost done here. We're gonna wrap up soon. But what do you have going on in like the near future? What's like next for you?
So a couple, man. There's a lot. There's a lot of beats out to a lot of artists that I really admire. Very thankful. Personally, I have a new instrumental album dropping on the 14th of February, called "The Boy Time Forgot," and got some dope stuff around that. And then couple, you'll be seeing like a few more later this year, but this year is gonna be very heavy with releasing music. So
you're focused on that. Is that something you had in mind, like in 2019, like, yo, 2020, I'm gonna push it out?
Damn, I looked back, I was like, yeah, we're gonna release a lot in 2019, and there's only 4.
Oh yeah.
4 tracks. I was like, all right, yeah, but now I think this year is just gonna be like, we were talking about TikTok, and like, oh yeah, make something, post it, don't give a fuck. That's the mentality. And then there's gonna be some where there's obviously more thought into it, but I'm just trying to go back to just the freedom and the fearlessness, you know.
Yeah.
And not overthinking anything.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got a few projects this year, a couple other projects that you'll see, and yeah.
So
that's it.
I'm excited to see it. Anything coming out soon? Like,
yeah, that instrumental one on the 14th, and then
on the 14th. Okay.
And then we got another single coming, I think, the following month, and then another kind of like sci-fi score thing. Hopefully, which if you're in the anime world and you guys need music for film, that's gonna be the one.
For sure.
Yeah, it's no drums on it. It's just all very epic weird sounds.
Like experimental melodies.
I'll send it to you.
Okay.
So you can hear
Hell
it.
yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to hearing that.
Yeah.
Where can people find you on like social or find your music at?
Yeah, on Instagram. Follow me on there. It's just @insightful, just the word insightful, and then you can find me on Spotify. Just type in Google Insightful Music, and then there'll be some things coming up.
All the streaming platforms.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah.
What about your TikTok?
TikTok is that? Yeah, follow me on there. If you follow me, I'll send you a free drawing.
Hey.
Yeah, it's just @insightful with the underscore at the end, because someone took the original one.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
for sure. All right, man.
Too late.
I appreciate you doing this. Any last words? Any parting words?
Nah, thank you for having me. I appreciate what you're doing.
Thank
good
you.
People. You've had good people on here, and yeah, man. Let's keep it going.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna continue to grow this.
Yeah.
Great episode, man.
Yeah, I appreciate
Insightful with the Insightful Podcast. Let's go.
Thank you, bro.
That's a wrap.
Cool.